Hello everyone! Today we're gonna be planting this absolutely stunning magnolia tree. This is the variety Sensation and it arrived a couple of weeks ago. I didn't have enough time to plant it and I also wasn't quite sure where exactly to put it. But now I have figured it out and we're gonna plant it and we're gonna keep our fingers crossed because it is so beautiful. You see, it has this really beautiful buttery light yellow petals with this pink veining. It is so pretty, and I think it really looks stunning in front of this hedging here because it is dark green and this one pops and it gives a lot of color now when almost nothing is blooming in the garden. First thing we need to do is remove the grass here, and I really need to put the magnolia tree in line with my two other trees, which is one of them, well actually three. One is gonna become a tree. It is a really small crepe myrtle, pink velour right now, but probably in 10 years it's gonna be a tree. Then I have an ornamental red leaf plum, and then I have a willow tree. Let me show you. Please don't mind the mess on my patio, but here I have the willow tree in the back, then I have the red leaf on the ornamental plum, then I have this little, let me show you, this little thing that is gonna become a pink velour crepe myrtle tree eventually. And here I'm gonna plant the Magnolia Sensation, and I think it's gonna be pretty. Let me show you the whole garden so that you can just imagine how it's gonna look. We have this path here which is gonna be paved at one point. From this little door we're gonna put some tiles here and then right there towards the patio. Then we have one crepe myrtle, we have the oleander tree, and here are the other trees. This is gonna be the magnolia tree, and here I have another which is some Acer globosum or something like that, and I was thinking to remove this one and put the magnolia tree right there, but eventually we're gonna put some garden shed here and probably we're gonna change this whole garden right here, the hydrangea bed. So I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to put the magnolia tree right here and then to remove it. That's why I decided to plant it right here. And maybe I'm gonna actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm gonna line it with my chitalpa tree. So it's gonna line with the trees in one direction with all the other trees and with the chitalpa right here. Yeah, this definitely makes sense. There is a huge construction site nearby and the dust is absolutely unbearable. There are trucks all the time moving left and right and it is really unbearable. I barely can go outside in my garden, but today was raining, last night was raining and probably they're not working. So I decided I'm gonna take the chance and plant the magnolia tree and spend some time in the garden because I was craving it so badly, and then the construction started and yeah, it is what it is, I guess. So now we have to remove the I want to remove the grass, and then I want to dig the hole and amend the soil a little bit. I have my cow manure which is in pellets form, and then I have some compost, and I'm gonna mix them all up with the native soil and I'm gonna amend the soil just because our soil is very heavy, it is very clay rich, so I think the magnolia tree is gonna appreciate some amendment of the soil. I just try to figure out in this direction it's supposed to be here, and in this direction aligned with the chitalpa tree it is supposed to be here, which comes a bit closer to the hydrangea garden. My first plan was to actually plant the magnolia tree inside the hydrangea bed because the tree is supposed to like more acidic soil, and since our soil is more basic, this is my safe guess just because my hydrangeas are always turn pink. I thought it's gonna be like a win-win situation where I apply a fertilizer on my hydrangeas and it is acidifying, so I thought the magnolia tree is gonna feel better there. But since, as I told you, I have another plan and probably I'm gonna move all my hydrangeas, I just don't want to risk it, and I want to be safe and plant the magnolia tree where it is gonna stay. But yeah, if I have to align it with my chitalpa tree, it's gonna be almost inside the hydrangea bed. I don't know. Should I do it? Should I Do we have to align everything in the garden? So I changed my mind and I'm not gonna align the magnolia tree with the chitalpa tree because it's gonna be not only almost inside the hydrangea bed but also really close to my other tree, and I just don't want for them to be competing, don't want to be too close to each other. Yeah, so I'm gonna plant it right here where my initial plan actually was. So let's dig in. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna underplant the magnolia tree because, as you know, they bloom really early into the season and I don't have anything like that in my garden. Everything is still green, nothing is blooming besides my armeria, and it only has one bloom. So I haven't decided yet. If you have any suggestions, if you have magnolia trees and you have underplanted them with something that is blooming really early into the season and it complements the magnolia tree, just give me your suggestions into the comments below. I will really appreciate it. I garden in zone 7B in Bulgaria, which is almost Mediterranean climate, especially in my city, which is Plovdiv. But yes, still we have some winters, even though I have olive tree, I have oleander tree, and they actually are feeling pretty good after the winter. I'm really worried about the health of my plants with all this dust. It feels like they're gonna be suffocating all the summer. This is the part I hate the most. Digging out the grass and the dirt and taking it out. Ugh. These weeds are making everything so difficult. Otherwise, I would have been able to just take out the grass almost like a carpet, but the weeds, they hold on. They have really, really strong root system. Look at that. Look at the roots of this thing. Maybe this ring is a bit too small, but I'm gonna keep it like that for now. I'm gonna plant the magnolia tree and I can always just make it bigger after that. Yeah, I think I need to move it a little bit. I think we have the perfect spot for our magnolia tree, and now I need to dig out the hole. This is where I want to put some of the soil. I'm gonna mix it with the compost, I'm gonna mix it with the cow manure, and we're gonna amend the hole. Oh, this worm, move! Don't stay in the hole. Now I'm gonna put some compost here in the bucket. And just a handful of cow manure in pellets again. Just a bit more. This bucket is quite small. I definitely need something bigger, but I just don't have anything. As you can see, the soil is very compacted. Now taking out the tree, because I want to use the pot. Look at this, wow, so many roots. I've never had a magnolia tree, but do you find it odd that it is only tall and it doesn't have any branches. I know that it is supposed to grow first in height and then spread, but isn't this a bit like a stick? But it's flowering, so I guess. I'm not gonna be able to mix it in the bucket, so I'll just throw it here. I'll mix it here in the hole. There is this layer of soil in my garden, which is probably, I don't know, 40-50 centimeters deep, that you just can't break. It is so thick and it is almost like a wall. I'm not surprised that many of the plants in my garden have really shallow roots. They just probably can't break it either. I think this is good. Let me find the front side of my magnolia tree. I will actually, yes, I want to remove the bamboo stick. I'll remove the stick so that we can see the tree itself without this big stick, and I don't think it needs it. Yay! Now this is so much more beautiful without the bamboo stick. Oh, so pretty. I've always wanted a magnolia tree in my garden, and when we moved in, which was probably around 5 years ago, everybody was telling me, no, don't take a magnolia tree, it is so messy, it is stinky, the blooms start to stink when they fall on the ground, they're going to ruin the grass and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I was in the Netherlands a couple of weeks ago and I didn't see any tulips, but oh my God, did I see magnolia trees into every single garden that I saw. We stayed in a town called Hilversum, and they had these beautiful houses, and every single house had a magnolia tree or a magnolia shrub in their yard with different colors. Everything was in bloom. It was so stunning. And I was like, you know what? If they can have a magnolia tree in their garden, I'm gonna have a magnolia tree in my garden, even though it is messy and blah blah. I just love it so much. And I really like this one just because I just love the pink and purples, but I just like the growth habit of this one, even though it turned out I just misread it. So it's not gonna be what I was expecting it to be, but still, nonetheless, it is so, so beautiful. And I think this actually is its front side, so that it spreads the branches in this direction. It looks like all the branches are going this way. I wish I have ordered it earlier and it had the chance to bloom in my garden, because I guess now I'm gonna lose the blooms because it's gonna be a bit shocked. But anyway, it is still blooming and I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I can. Now I'm gonna put back the amended soil back in the hole, and then I'm gonna put some compost on top. As you know, I mulch with compost just because of the quality of my soil. It needs some nutrients, it needs something to lessen the density of the soil. Also, talking about people trying to talk me out of having a magnolia tree, I realized that in my country, most of the magnolia trees are the evergreen magnolias that have these huge white blooms, and they bloom all, I don't know if it is all year long, but it is like a long, long blooming season. And they really make a mess. And these huge blooms are like a bit stinky when they drop on the ground. But this is a deciduous magnolia. As you can see, it doesn't even have leaves. And also what I realized, and I promise I'm gonna fix that if this magnolia tree really grows in my garden, I can barely find any pictures on video or videos on magnolias when they're just with leaves and no blooms. And I want to see the tree, how it's gonna look the whole season, because it's gonna bloom for a couple of weeks and then we're gonna have the foliage. And I just can't find any footage of a magnolia tree with the foliage without the blooms. So I'm gonna fix that as well. It looks like I have prepared the perfect amount of amended soil. I'm gonna top it with just compost. And now I'm gonna water it. I usually try to water my plants after I have planted them with low pressure water, just not to, in order not to disturb the compost on top, and also to give them a bit more time to absorb the water. It has been raining the whole night, so the soil is quite moist. Maybe that's why it doesn't take the water as quickly. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the water now, do something else, come back in 10-15 minutes and water again, just to make sure that there is enough water for the tree. Well, friends, now we have our magnolia tree in the garden and I really hope she likes it. Oh, already a bee coming to visit my magnolia tree. I really hope she likes it here, and I say she because in my language magnolia is actually a female name. So I really hope she likes it here. I really hope she enjoys it, and I'm gonna try to enjoy the blooms as much as I can, even though they're gonna be short-lived. Nonetheless, absolutely stunning. Thank you for being with me, and I really hope to see you soon. Bye.